Hello, YouTube community. There we go. That's better than just saying YouTube. My name is Rick. These are the Dreadful Minutes. And this is just going to be a quick collection update video to end off April. So, I'm not going to torture you with 40 minutes and plus of me yammering around. But first, I'm going to take this opportunity to congratulate the Metal Miners. So the Metal Miners channel is run by a father and son who are metalheads, and thought that was quite awesome. So they've been doing this channel for a couple months now, but they finally got to 100 subscribers. It's a good feeling when you get to 100 subscribers, you know. But once you get past that point, your hair's a little grayer, your eyes don't work as well as they used to, your hips start to go a little, you know. So just a forewarning. Just kidding. So congratulations, guys. So Cody and Anthony, very cool to have you guys in the community. And Cody, congratulations on graduating. Thought I'd put that out there. So let's get on with it. So first up is Suicide Forest. There is a Suicide Forest that's from Japan, but that's not the one I'm talking about. This is Suicide Forest, which is depressive black metal, composed and music all done by a young fella by the name of Austin Kruger, and he dropped a new full length. So this is his second full length last month. So this came out in March, and this is called Reluctantly. So here is the digipack. And it was put out by Avant-Garde Music. This is kind of cool. It's just like a bunch of swords. Quite fitting. So the second full length, which came out in 2018, is just self-titled. But I first got wind of this through Folkvanger, and which was this tape right here called Descend into Despair, put out again by Folkvanger. So this was a compilation of the demo material. So there's the tape. Side B. So don't lose the J card if you want the track names. Even that's a little hard to read. Very cool. So it's a very limited run. So this is number 36 out of 100, which you can see right there. The CD versions of these, of this one and Descend into Despair, last I just checked, is still available on Bandcamp. So definitely check it out. The production on this definitely sounds quite demo material, although it's still not bad. It's very, very well done. This right here, it's quite raspy, but the production and everything is also done very well. My only thing is that the songs all kind of run together, so it all kind of just, it's not as distinctive between track per track. So this is one of those things where I kind of just let it run in the background, and I kind of just, you know, to kind of go along with it, with the tunes. So, you know, it is what it is, but still quite enjoyable listen. Suicide Forest, I'll leave a link. So here I have a release by Northern Silence Productions. This came out in February of 2021, so it's a rather new drop. So this is Noctambulist, and they are from the Netherlands. But watch out, because there's another Noctambulist, which are still active, from Denver, Colorado. And they are what you call a black and death metal band. So that's not who I'm talking about. So this is a what you call a black gaze, post-metal, atmospheric kind of project. So this right here, again, if you like black gaze, this is definitely for you. But it's not sort of just drenched in that realm. There's quite a lot of atmosphere too. So at times, I feel like I'm listening to atmospheric black metal, and then there are moments like this where it comes in. It's quite emotive. This stuff really carries you. Like this is not a it's not like the Suicide Forest that I just showed, which just kind of keeps you in that depressive state. This is more I don't know. It just gave me more of a positive feeling, although the cover may say otherwise. Really cool. Of course, everything here looks like it's all in Dutch, so I'm unable to really interpret what those titles are unless I try and Google it and translate it. So this is strictly just the music that I can speak on. So again, this is called, looks like 1 Elegian. So I'm guessing there's going to be a 2. So this is the first thing they put out. I think they put out a single last year. But this is really, really good. It's 500 copies, so it's a limited digipack. I hope there's a repress if this goes, because I think once people start to get more wind of this, they're really going to fall in love with it, as much as I did. So, Noctambulist, definitely check this out, especially if you like black gaze or just atmospheric black metal in general. That has a little sense of beauty in the composition. So, to continue on with Northern Silence Productions, they also put this out, but this goes back to 2014. So, this means that I'm just discovering this band. This is Coldun, so that's Coldun, and this is the second full length. This one's called Collapsing Polarities. So I thought this was a good timing to bring up this band because they just released a new album back in January. And I felt like nobody's talking about this. And it's going to fly under the radar for such a great project. Now, again, being from Germany, there's a sense of epicness to this. I almost feel like not so much by the music, just the sense of the epicness I get from Atlantean Codex. Which is, I think, is another German band. So I do get that vibe. However, if you look up Codon, they, I would say, are categorized in the doom metal arena. But I wouldn't outright call this balls out doom metal. This kind of treads. So if you had a line, like a divider, and maybe I'll put a graphic here, and you had metal, and you had hard rock. So this at any point just kind of goes between both sides. There are acoustic moments, quite a lot of acoustic moments with this. As far as the vocals, it's very reminiscent of it being very emotive, and it kind of just stays there. So it's sort of mid-pace. There are some what you call hard moments. That's when you go into that more metal side of it. Although most of the time they stray in a sort of more that hard rock kind of sound. Still doomy, but I think what makes it that doomy sound is just the way it sort of has that down feeling approach. And if you know Warning, if you like Warning, I could definitely see you liking this. So this is definitely for you doom nuts. There's definitely something you should definitely check out. So it's a very nice sort of trifold digipack. So let me just flip the disc up here and fold this out. So I guess it's more of a quad fold, I guess. I don't know. But there are the lyrics. Very cool. I like that that sort of Reaper thing they have there, which is part of the cover art, which I'll show again. Very nice. And here you go. So, yeah. Hoping this would focus. There's the back. So this was 900 copies, which is a very strange number. I mean, they usually go from like, what, 500 to 1,000, something like that. So 900 copies is new to me. So I'm guessing there are copies that are still floating around. This should not be very hard to get. I got this through Hell's Headbangers, again, through a random browse. So I've been finding some really interesting new bands through there lately, just from blind buys. So glad I clicked the button on this one. and this is very enjoyable. So it's doom metal without going all Solitude and Turnus or anything like that. So there are moments where it's just soft enough with the hard rock without going full out metal all the time. So if you look something a little different, but you like the emotive side of Warning, definitely check this out. And check out the new album, which is Grandson Ritual. It looks like with that one, based on what I heard, there's more of a fuller production and sound to it. And I think that's because this is a full band now. I think with this, it was just a kind of a one-man project. I don't know if this was one of those cases where it's just done by one person and then just had live studio session members for that part of it. But regardless, it's got a very interesting sound. The sound itself and style is consistent throughout all their releases. But this is where I started. Very enjoyable. I'll be getting all their or his other material. So that's Coldun. All right, let's move into death metal. You know I was getting there eventually. So this is a 2020 reissue of a band, classic old school death metal band out of Tampa, Florida, called Resurrection. A lot of you old school guys should know this. This is Embalmed Existence. So this is a slipcase. Now, you can tell it's one of those foil deals, which is it's something that Transcending Obscurities has been doing quite a lot with their releases, though this was not put out by them. But although this was originally released through a Nuclear Blast back in 1993. So this band has been consistent in the early 90s, and then they just kind of took a break, a long break. I guess they split up and then released another album to like 2008, I think. James Murphy was involved in that one. But this one here is a sort of a reissue compiling their two demos. So this is the 1991-1992 demo, as stated right there, and the Embalmed Existence full length. So here you go. This ticks all the check boxes, what you call the classic tropes of American death metal. What do I mean? All right, let's start with Dan Seagrave artwork, Scott Burns production, and yep, you saw this coming. Mora Sound Studios. So these guys were in the thick of it when all that stuff was happening. So the question now is this shit actually good? This shit's thrashing, amazing. I love it. Glad I picked it up. I'm glad Hammerheart reissued this. Look at the pictures of these guys, particularly these two on the ends. Yep, no, quite menacing stare. Not having a happy day, and you better just not get in their way. So would have loved to see these guys live, but I don't know if they're ever going to put something out again. It's been a long time, but I don't know if they still got it, but the energy in this album kicks ass, and it goes along with all those other classics. But for some reason, this one doesn't get brought up a whole lot. But I think that if you like the classic Florida death metal sound, just old school death metal in general, this is definitely worthy of a pickup, and because of the demos. So actually, let me just show you that real quick. So here's the disc, and this just opens up. And the second disc is the one with the demo material. So that is Resurrection. This one here, I'm quite excited about because I never actually owned anything physical by Atheist, which is what you call progressive death thrash band out of Florida. So this is a legacy band, and so at Hollow Ground Distro, I actually picked up this collector set, which has 4 of their full lengths. They had quite a strange history, being that they released the first 3 full lengths sequentially, and then in 2010, so that was 1990 with Piece of Time, 91 with A Questionable Presence, 93 with Elements, and in 2010 was Jupiter. So pretty cool. This sold out rather quickly. over Hollow Ground Distro, so I got it just in the nick of time. But it's pretty cool. Actually, so all the discs here, I like how they're all different, which I will explain in the next thing I'm going to show, unlike that one. But here is Piece of Time. Came with this booklet. Let me take it out. So it's just basically lyrics and just more lyrics. The color changes so you know what album you're on. So that's that attention to detail, which seems small, but it's actually here's purple for Elements. I think purple it's fits for Elements because Elements is probably their jazziest material they've put out. And then we have for Jupiter sort of that like that brown color. Very cool. So here we have a Questionable Presence, and then this opens up like this. Elements, and then you got Jupiter. Pretty damn cool. So I actually first heard Atheist through the Elements album, and it didn't hit me. I didn't get it. To be honest, it was several years ago, and I was like, "What is this?" I think if I would have started with Piece of Time, that band would have sold me, and I probably would have been more apt to get their physical material. But I held off. But you know what, though? I think there's a newfound appreciation for this band over time. I think when this came out, because A Piece of Time was supposed to come out in '88. Morrisound Studios was involved with the first two full lengths, and it must have been mind blowing with this material coming out. You know, it was quite different from the other death metal things that were coming out at the time. I know there was Cynic, a few other bands coming out trying to do the progressive thing. Even Chuck Death was, starting to go more in that direction with more intricate riffing, more technicality. But happy to have this. Really cool. I think with Jupiter, I think between Piece of Time and Jupiter, quite polar opposites, but they're both my favorites. Jupiter I like because although it's probably the most conventional album they've made, it still has that Atheist touch, but it's also their heaviest with guitar tone and everything. With Piece of Time, I think being probably the most brutal thing they put out. But again, I wouldn't start with Elements if that kind of side of the technical, jazzier side of death metal. It may not be your thing. I would start out with Piece of Time first and kind of work your way. But that's just my opinion. So that's Atheist original album collection. So this was put out by Season of Mist, but definitely worth having, especially if you can find it for a really good price. I got this for under 30, easily under 30. So for 4 CDs, can't beat that. So got another CD set for you. So I got this through Desert Wastelands, which sold out very quickly, not so long after they put it up. So that is the Benediction 6 CD set, which has the first full-length Subconscious Terror all the way up to Killing Music. What more can I say about this band? When you think of what you call the old school bands out of the UK, you got the Mighty Bolt Thrower, which is one that people kind of think of first. And then you have bands like Benediction. But Benediction was not a band I really got sort of acquainted with immediately. I was already listening to Bolt Thrower in the late 90s. And this is another example of where I think I started with the wrong album, which, didn't give me a high opinion of the band, or at least not the way it would have if I would have started with another album. So that was Grind Bastard. And that one, which is probably their more groove-laden album, it came out in the late 90s at a time when, everybody was sort of moving that direction. It was sort of less technical, and everybody was focusing more on the thick It's also more thrashy. You know, it's got the Judas Priest cover, Electric Eye. You know, it's almost, so it's kind of strange. But I revisited the earlier material, and I've quickly realized what I was missing out on. And but really awesome to have. So this CD set does not include their latest drop. So I'm just getting by with this one for now, with Scriptures. So this one has the return of Dave Ingram on vocals, which he did leave the band for a while to do Bolthor and among other projects. So Dave Hunt took over for Organized Chaos and Killing Music, which was the last two here. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and just pop this open real quick. One thing to note is that for some reason, they made all the CDs the same. Unlike that Atheist set, I wish they would have done something with that treatment. It's a cool image, but it's not very distinctive. You actually have to read the disc number to know. The titles are here, but again, it doesn't stand out all that well. It's just cool to have the albums anyway. So it also opens up kind of weird. So here we go. So there you go. So there's the Grand Leveler. Subconscious Terror, which I think that one had Barney on vocals for that one. And this one opens up like this. There's a picture of the band. So quite cool. I couldn't figure out the opening situation at first. I was like, how the hell, where are the other discs? I thought it initially only came with 4 discs. I'm like, there's 6 pictured here. Well, what the hell, man? But that wasn't the case. So it's always iffy with these sets because they don't all open up the same exact way. Again, I think the way the Atheist CD set did it, but that one was only 4 discs. So maybe I guess 6 is more intricate and involved. So that could explain a lot. So it came with this booklet, which is really the only material you have. There's no like extra booklet or anything like that. So again, it's just all lyrics, pictures. You get the actual pictures of the albums here, but that's really the only way you get it. The Grand Leveler, Transcend the Rubicon. So yeah, these are all just classics. I mean, I think this is a good template to go back to if you want to know what this scene was like in the early 90s. Well, okay, don't start with that one. That's just my opinion. I grew fond of it over the years. Again, it was the first one that introduced me to the band, but I didn't know what I was missing out with the other ones. Then you got Organized Chaos. I don't like the Photoshop work on this one. It's okay. It's a nice image, but I don't know. I like the return of the logo though. You didn't get that with Grind Bastard. It's just like, what is that? I don't know. I don't always like when bands just decided to go all what you call normal with the logos. It's like, dude, if you're gonna call yourself a death metal band, I mean, I don't know. It's whatever. So we got the last image because again, I just scrolling through lyrics, so not to bore you to death. So in the last one here, Killing Music. So that's the last one they have for this collection. So quite cool. This was actually again, this is the Nuclear Blast recordings, but this actual collection was put out by Dissonance Productions. So not familiar with them. You're not gonna be able to see that here, but very cool. Benediction. So that is the last thing I'm going to show for today. Okay, did I manage to keep this under half an hour? Yes. Okay. So that's it for the updates. And I'll see you all in May. And keep it dreadful.